Summer 1876, Dakota Territory, Deadwood. The settlement reeked of perspiration, weapon grease, and bottom-shelf liquor. A dusty haze settled over everything like a bad omen, strangling the airways of fortune-seekers, card players, and wanderers crowding the twisted pathways. Outside a drinking establishment known as the Brass Mule, on its unsteady wooden stairs, a transaction was taking place. No property or livestock or precious metal changed hands here. A human being was the commodity. Standing rigid between her male relatives, Abigail Turner, everyone called her Abby, waited. 23 years old, which her father claimed made her past her prime for matrimony. The sun had darkened her complexion, labor had roughened her palms, and strenuous work had left her frame too slim. In his judgment, she resembled hired help rather than a potential spouse. Yet her gaze remained firm, challenging, practically daring observers to declare her worthless. Elias Turner, her father, expelled saliva onto the ground and cleaned his lips. She brings nothing to our family. No husband will claim her. No dowry arrives with her. No grandchildren will come from her. We're better off feeding one less person. Clive, her eldest sibling, wore a mocking expression. She work hard enough if you can tolerate her attitude. Too much pride, that's her problem. Facing them stood Horace Gravy, the tavern proprietor, his flushed complexion glistening with perspiration and alcohol. Laughter erupted from him as he patted his protruding stomach and withdrew a coin purse from his jacket. The leather pouch made heavy sounds in his grasp. Pride doesn't concern me. I'll demonstrate what it costs her. Take this exceeds her value, but I'm feeling charitable. He directed his oily smile at Abby. Climb aboard the cart, girl. Someone grabbed her arm roughly. No screaming came from her. No weeping either. She simply met her father's eyes. What she witnessed there contained no remorse, no uncertainty, just relief at being rid of her. Onlookers mocked and shouted. Miners, intoxicated men, ranch workers seeking entertainment in someone else's misery. You're fortunate, Horace. Maybe she improved with cleaning. Worthless females end up serving drinks or dead. Abby's teeth ground together, her insides churning with rage and humiliation. Still, she refused to let them witness her collapse. Then movement came from near the trading post. A figure emerged, advancing deliberately, like a boulder gaining momentum. His leather clothing showed wear. A blade rested at his waist. Animal pelts weighed down the sack across his back. His facial hair grew thick, his features obscured by a stained hat's brim. Initially wordless, he pushed through the gathering until confronting Horace Gravy directly. The tavern owner scowled. "What's your business, Boone?" The stranger dropped his pack onto the surface. It landed with substantial weight. Furs, hides, an entire winter's harvest. His voice emerged quiet but firm. If she holds no value for you, I'll claim her. Not to serve drinks, not to produce offspring. I'll construct shelter for her. Should she desire it, she may consider it home. Silence overtook the crowd. Even Horace appeared startled. Elias Turner choked as though glass fragments lodged in his throat. You cannot simply, I already have, Wayne Boone stated. His attention shifted to Abby. Though shadowed, his eyes contained no cruelty, no hunger. Something unusual lived there, something no man had ever shown her, respect for her choice. His voice lowered, meant only for her hearing. Walking away remains an option, but accompanying means you'll never face treatment as someone's possession again. Abby's breathing halted. Her pulse thundered. For once that entire day, she sensed an opening in the crushing pressure surrounding her. Slowly, agreement came with a nod. Wayne turned, and Abby followed away from the wagon. Away from the spectators, away from relatives who traded her for metal coins. Nobody intervened. Not her father, not Clive, not Horace Gravy, Deadwood observed silently, uncertain whether they'd witness salvation or defiance. The path departing town twisted like a serpent toward the Black Hills. Wayne maintained steady progress, his footwear crunching gravel. Behind, Abby rode a determined mule, clutching the weathered saddle with uncertain hands. She anticipated the transformation, the brutal words, the grabbing, the orders. Yet Wayne remained silent. Time passed. Town sounds disappeared. Birdsong replaced hammering and yelling. Vegetation thickened around their path. For years, Abby had lived under her father's oppression, beneath contemptuous stares from men calculating her value in currency. Terror and liberation twisted within her like intertwined roots. Midday arrived, and Wayne paused beside flowing water. Kneeling, he filled a metal cup and extended it toward her. "Drink," came the simple instruction. Her hesitation met no pressure. She tasted it. The liquid felt freezing and intense, washing away throat dust. He drank only after her completion. Evening brought them to a small clearing. Partially constructed log framing stood there. Makeshift roofing combined canvas with branches. A blackened fire circle marked the center. This wasn't luxury. It represented commitment. Wayne faced her, features illuminated by fading daylight. Comfort doesn't exist here. Neither does complete security. Not presently. But space exists for constructing a genuine cabin. Remain tonight, and tomorrow construction begins. Otherwise, dawn brings your return trip. Abby's voice fractured. Why offer me this decision? Because the choice belongs to you, he responded. No male had ever addressed her this way. Not her father, not Clive, not anyone from Deadwood. She sat silently beside the flames, wrapped in Wayne's oversized coat. He fed her beans and dried meat before serving himself. When stars appeared overhead, Wayne transported his sleeping roll to the lean-to structure outside. Sleep inside, he directed. Canvas leaks occasionally, but it'll suffice. You're not... She stopped mid-sentence. Wayne nodded briefly. I'll remain out here. For the first time ever, Abigail Turner reclined in darkness and fell asleep without fear. But tranquility in the Black Hills proved delicate, and Deadwood possessed enduring memory. Somewhere distant, trouble was already approaching. Summer expanded as days lengthened across the mountains. Abby awakened daily to pine scent and wild bird calls. Her hands, previously deemed too delicate and ineffective, began toughening through labor. She chopped firewood, transported stones, combined mud, and mastered wielding a hammer confidently. Alongside her, Wayne Boone labored with calm expertise, demonstrating through basic movements how to support beams, fit logs tightly, and seal openings against weather. Wayne spoke sparingly. His quietness never felt harsh. He issued no commands. Mockery never came. He simply worked, and within his calmness, Abby discovered freedom she'd never experienced. Evenings found them near the fire. He consistently served her portions first, then his own, and when stars filled darkness, he carried bedding outside, granting her the cabin's protected interior. One evening, as flames flickered low, Abby finally inquired, "Have you always lived in these mountains?" Wayne shook his head. "Previously, I practiced carpentry-constructed barns, porches, burial boxes. Owned a modest house near the river." "What changed?" She pressed. He stared into flames, jaw tensed. "Married a woman. Lyle was her name. Beautiful voice. Adored birds. Caller acclaimed her and our son. Afterward, conversation seemed pointless. Abby listened quietly, fire crackling between them. Then her own words emerged, softer and uncertain. My father claimed I was born defective. Insufficient beauty, inadequate voice, incapable of childbearing. He destroyed the scripture fragments my mother once gave me. Said men don't desire wives who surpass their reading ability. Wayne stirred embers with a branch but didn't interrupt. Only a few words remain in my knowledge now, she confessed. Wayne finally regarded her. Then we'll correct that. She blinked, questioning what she'd heard, but he was rising already, retrieving a smooth board from his tools. Using charcoal, he inscribed her name, a BBY. Slowly, meticulously, he showed each letter. Her fingers shook copying them, her writing unsteady but authentically hers. She studied those marks extensively, pressing the board against her chest like discovered treasure. This marked the first possession truly bearing her name. 3 weeks later, the cabin possessed sturdy walls and weatherproof roofing. Abby cultivated wildflowers beside the entrance, her hands digging earth with something resembling happiness. For once, she wasn't burdensome. She was creating something potentially enduring. But happiness rarely persists in the West. One afternoon, hoofbeats shattered mountain silence. Abby froze. Two riders materialized at the ridgeline, and her stomach dropped. Her father Elias and brother Clive, their expressions twisted with contempt, their eyes sharp with possessiveness. Elias dismounted, his voice dripping scorn. "Observe this pathetic place. I knew she'd find squalor, but never imagined she'd climb a mountain for it." Wayne descended from the porch, axe in grip, blade positioned low but prepared. "Your presence isn't welcome here." "She's my daughter," Elias barked. "You believe you control this situation?" "She's not property," Wayne answered, voice steady. Clive dismounted, spat earthward, and sneered. "She represents debt." "A mouth we fed excessively?" "No, a wealthy miner in Helena offers 10 cattle for a wife. We're here collecting." Wayne didn't flinch. "If she chooses accompanying you, she can." "I won't prevent it." Elias smirked. "You believe she's your wife now? Playing house with her?" Wayne's gaze remained fixed. "I consider her a person." "That exceeds your treatment of her." Inside, Abby's legs trembled, heart pounding. Remaining hidden was possible. Letting Wayne defend her was possible. But internally, she recognized this moment belonged to her. The door creaked. Abby stepped outside, chin elevated, hands stained with dirt from planted flowers. She observed her father, then Clive. "I'm refusing to accompany you," she declared. Elias blinked, stunned. "Pardon?" "I said no." Her voice carried across the clearing. "I'm no longer for sale." Clive advanced, but Wayne shifted, axe grip steady. "She's spoken. Her choice is made." Elias's expression contorted with fury. "Ungrateful child. After everything we provided—" "You sold me," Abby interrupted, voice cracking but unwavering. "You didn't raise me. You tolerated me until profiting became possible." The words hung in mountain air. From the trees, trappers and valley residents had assembled, observing. Elias noticed them. His confidence fractured. "You'll regret this, girl," he spat. "Perhaps," Abby responded, spine straight, eyes unwavering. "But it'll be my regret to bear." Prolonged silence followed. Then Elias cursed, mounted his horse, and departed. Clive glared once more at Wayne before following. Their figures diminished into trees, leaving only stillness. Abby exhaled, knees weakened, but remained standing. She had chosen. For the first time ever, nobody could steal that from her. The fire crackled as Wayne returned his axe to the porch. Words weren't necessary. The mountain had heard her declaration, and so had he. Snow arrived early that year. White clung to pines, and the stream froze where Abby previously knelt for water. Wayne hunted each morning, rifle across his shoulder. But Black Hills winters proved merciless and animals grew scarce. One evening, long after sunset disappeared, Abby heard their mules' panicked sounds. She rushed outside, discovering Wayne staggering up the trail, blood saturating his shirt. His complexion appeared pale, jaw clenched. "Wayne!" she cried, pulling him inside. "It's superficial," he groaned. "Elk's antler grazed me." "Nothing serious?" But the blood revealed otherwise. Abby applied rags to the injury, hands trembling, breathing rapid and irregular. Days passed with Wayne barely mobile. He relied on a carved stick moving from bed to fire. Abby became the cabin's strength. She split wood until blisters tore her palms. She hauled water from the stream, repaired clothing, maintained the fire. She cleaned his injury and sat beside him nightly, reading from the limited words Wayne had taught her. Villagers whispered she'd perish there with him, but Abby never left. One night, wind howling outside, she stitched bandaging with shaking fingers. Wayne studied her face, pale with exhaustion but unbroken. "You're stronger than this entire mountain," he murmured. She blinked, tears forming. "Why?" "I've witnessed storms split trees completely, yet you remain unbroken." Her head lowered, shoulders shaking with quiet sobs. For the first time ever, someone had called her strong. Wayne reached out, his hand gently closing over hers. The fire burned steadily between them, warming more than the space. By spring, Wayne could walk again. Snow melted, streams flowed fully, and green buds spread across hills. The cabin stood solid, flowers blooming near steps Abby had planted previously. One afternoon, 3 riders arrived, prospectors from southern territories. Their leader, Lyle, tipped his hat and offered Abby folded paper. "We've got a mining claim in town. Need someone reading receipts and maintaining ledgers. Fair payment, shelter included. You'd be the first woman hired for intelligence, not merely companionship." Abby's chest constricted. A genuine position opportunity to stand independently, free from debt, free from dependence. That evening she sat by the fire, studying the offer. Wayne carved cedar silently. Finally, he set down the wood and placed something beside her. A small hand-carved map. "If departure is your choice," he said, "this shows the easiest trail after snow melts." Abby stared. "And if I don't choose departure?" "Keep it regardless, so you'll always know the return path." "Wayne, won't you stop me? Say something?" His eyes softened. "You're not mine to keep. That's precisely the point." 2 mornings later, Abby stood at the trail as the wagon rattled closer. Lyle waved. "Ready, miss?" She clutched the carved map in one hand, the offer in the other. Her heart thundered. Then she shook her head. "No," Lyle frowned. "Certain?" "I already inhabit where I want to be," she stated firmly. She turned back, walked up the slope, and found Wayne waiting on the porch. She pressed the map into his palm and smiled. "Turns out I don't need it. I'm already home." Wayne didn't return the smile. He only nodded, but his eyes communicated more than language ever could. That spring, the cabin transformed beyond mere shelter. Abby arranged chalk and slate on a lengthy wooden table Wayne had constructed, and valley children arrived, carrying eggs and corn as payment for lessons. Mothers lingered at the entrance, listening as their little ones spelled names for the first time. Abby's voice filled the cabin, teaching letters once denied her. And when she looked up, she frequently found Wayne observing from the porch, carving stools for children, his quiet pride shining through his weathered features. On a Sunday morning, beneath the tallest pine, valley folk gathered. Abby wore a white dress stitched from flour sacks, wildflowers braided into her hair. Wayne stood beside her in a clean shirt, beard neatly trimmed. The children scattered petals at her feet, and a battered fiddle played a thin but sweet melody. Abby took his hands, her voice steady. "I once believed I was nothing, that my value existed only in what others could extract from me. But this man constructed more than shelter. He gave me ground to stand on, a name to carry, a life of my own selection." Wayne's voice cracked as he responded. "I've constructed many things throughout life, barns, burial boxes, porches, but nothing was ever complete until her. Today I call her my wife, not because she belongs to me, but because she transformed this place into home." The crowd cheered. Children clapped, and when Wayne slipped the hand-carved wooden ring onto Abby's finger, the forest itself seemed to pause in reverence. That evening, the cabin glowed with firelight. Children whispered the alphabet at the lengthy table. Chickens clucked softly beneath the porch. Abby wrote lesson plans by candlelight while Wayne carved shelves for their expanding home. Outside, stars burned over the black hills. Inside, Abby smiled through tears. After a lifetime of being labeled useless, she had finally become something more: wife, teacher, builder, and free.